Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Leo, and I'm the new guest on El Paso Creatives. You know the vibes.
Hello, everyone. This is the El Paso Creative Podcast Show. I am your host, Jabel. So I'm here with Leo. Leo, tell me about yourself. I know that you're a songwriter, you're an artist, you're a musician. Just give me a full introduction.
Yeah, most definitely. So my name is Leo. The reason why I go by Leo is because my actual birth name, Leandre, it means in translation, lion man. And also, I was born July 29th, 1991.
So you're a Leo.
I'm a
Oh,
Leo,
wow.
Leo.
Fire sign.
Yeah, most definitely. And also, I was born in a small town in Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and their mascot is Golden Lions for their college there, so home of the Golden Lions. So, as I got older and started to understand a little bit about myself, I took on that identity as Leo.
And I really like that you got the symbolism of a lion and you put it into your name, because I feel like that creates like more power. You're like, I am Leo, and you have like the symbolism to back it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
But I mean, tell me about your music. What type of music do you do, and what is your inspiration?
Oh yeah, so I make hip hop, rap, subgenre trap music, but my trap is a little bit different. I make trap music that has like a Will Smith vibe, because like he's one of my biggest influences, just as a songwriter, entertainer. If you listen to his music, he didn't drop not one cuss word. And I was always intrigued, like, man, you have a rapper who's like super popular and he doesn't cuss in his music, and he still gets mad love and respect, around the world. And I wanted to adopt that into how I write music. I can say when I was younger, I talked about, the cliche stuff, the trying to be street, things of that nature. But that was never really me, but that comes with discovering yourself, going through that kid phase and becoming a man. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I really love that you say that. I feel like sometimes we're pushed towards a direction of like, oh, I have to cuss because this is the norm in rap.
Yeah.
And I love how you mentioned Will Smith. I didn't want to butcher his name, but yeah, because I feel like so many people nowadays, they stick to like, oh no, it's because I need a cuss because all these rappers in the industry cuss, and like this is the norm. And I love how you're like, no, there's this one guy that doesn't. And for me, that's my inspiration. Wow, I think that's amazing.
Most definitely. And it's crazy because, I'm a big 90s baby, born in 91. So, just watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I just felt like he was a positive role model in my life, along with other influences like Michael Jackson. Like I can remember having the Thriller cassette tape, and my family would have me like dance in the middle of the room to Billie Jean.
Yeah.
It was just super crazy.
He's so iconic.
So he's
and
like,
and he will always be iconic.
You know what's so crazy? I just recently found one of the original Michael Jackson action figure dolls from the 80s on eBay for $90. And I'm pretty sure like you have people that's probably selling it for like a couple $100,000. I bought it because that was something that I always wanted as a kid. Yeah. And it's crazy. Now that I have it as a 30-year-old, I'm like, wow, man.
And I love how you mentioned that, because I feel like sometimes we forget about what we wanted as a child. Yeah. It gets lost like throughout the years. And I feel like we should always remember like, what did I want as a kid, Yeah. Yeah, because like you're you, and you sometimes I feel like one doesn't truly ever grow up, Like we forget about our inner child. And I love how that you said like, no, like my inner child's here. I bought the Michael Jackson action figure because I've always wanted it. Yeah.
And now that I have it, it's like, I'm never going to sell it, never going to give it away.
It's mine forever.
Yeah, most definitely. And my goal is to pass it down to my son so that he can learn, our history, that Michael Jackson was one of the greatest entertainers of all time, and I just wanted him to remember that this is what greatness looks like. And along with me, having, my cassette tape, having this as like an artifact, a part of history, like, yo, my dad was one of the greatest artists of all time, so definitely.
Yes, and I'm gonna go into that. Tell me, what is your music about? What is the themes that you talk about, and what are you really trying to express through your music?
Oh yeah, like my music, like I said, it has a lot of like that '80s vaporwave type of vibe. I'm very tapped into like the new age artists like Uzi Vert, Playboy Cardi. I really like they vibe, just the production aspect of it. It kind of has like a very nostalgic feel to their beats, and like it kind of like brings out that kid in me, and my subject matters is young people stuff, but for the most part, I talk about just my swag, I talk about my love interest, I try to base it off my relationship with my wife, and how much I love her, some laid back player, type stuff. I try to do a little bit of everything, cool, calm, and collected type guy.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like a lot of artists, they grab a lot of their life and they put it in their music, and I feel like that makes it even more powerful because you're like, this is what I've been through, this is who I am, and now you can hear it through this interpretation, which
Yes.
is music. Yeah.
Most definitely. And it's so crazy. One of my biggest influences in my music is movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love that you say that because I'm a filmmaker.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, like
Awesome.
I love movies. So what is your favorite movie, and what is one movie you would say that really inspires your music?
I would have to say The Mask is like one of my favorite movies. Jim Carrey, like his energy, in the film is just like phenomenal. I'll definitely have to say he's even one of my biggest influences in my music. I even have a song and music video called The Mask, paying homage to, Jim Carrey. And even on this album right here, I have a song called Stanley Dripkus, which is based off the Stanley Ipkiss character on The Mask. Him playing Ace Ventura, like, come on, man. He's like one of the greatest
Yeah.
comedy actors of all time. Shout out to Jim Carrey.
Yes, shout out.
And, oh, yeah, just to add, I would have to say I was a big movie soundtrack guy, so one of my biggest soundtracks in movies was Clueless. Yeah, I remember having the VHS, Clueless movie, and man, the soundtrack on that movie was super dope. And that's still like one of my 90s favorites. For
Yeah,
sure.
and I feel like sometimes people forget that. Like you take away music from movies and you don't feel the same emotions, Like even in scary movies, like you need that music, so you can be like, oh my God, what's happening? Or like in a romantic movie, like you need to feel it, And I feel like music helps the actors' dialogues like carry out even more,
It brings out the emotion, most
Yeah.
definitely. And it's crazy that you say that now, fast forwarding to my life, in my early 20s, I land a licensing deal, with one of the biggest, labels in the U.S., Music of the Sea, Eddie Caldwell. I was, majoring in music business in Hawaii, and my professor, he told me about this this website called Music X-Ray that allows artists to pitch their music for different, placement opportunities. I pitched my music.
What's the name of the website again?
MusicXray.com. Yeah, Music X-Ray. They have like, opportunities for you to be featured as a co-writer for, Cardi B or Lil Baby, things of that nature. Even just sync placement for movies and films. So I did that. and I got a lot of no's, but this guy, Eddie, he reached out to me. He was like, yo, I like the song that you sent to me, and I want to sign you to a licensing deal. So I signed it, then boom, I started getting my songs placed in movies.
And you know what? I feel like you said, you got a lot of no's, and I feel like that a lot of times discourages other musicians from keep pursuing it. What's one of the main things that you said, you know what, I'm still going to do this? Or like what obstacles did you face that made you very skeptical of like, I don't know if I should do this, and what really encouraged you to continue making music?
Oof. Even till this day, with me being, 30 years old now, I've sometimes get those thoughts like, man, people saying that I'm too old to make music, that if I don't reach this level of success at this age, then I should give it up. I've been through so many different, twists and turns on my journey. Rejection is going to come. But if you live for the yeses, you're going to die by the boos. So you have to learn to validate yourself. Don't look for other people to validate you, especially if you're a true artist at your essence. Music is never going to stop. Yeah. You are music, so you are the melody, you are the song. So it will never stop because music is who you are.
And I love how you mentioned the age thing. I feel like a lot of people, they throw that at like other people who are trying to follow their dreams, and they're like, oh no, like you're too old to do this. Or maybe the opposite. You're too young to do this. I've had people tell me like straight out of high school, I wanted to do a film. And I had a lot of people say, no, you're too young. Like, what do you know about film, Yeah. And I was like, well, I still want to do it. Like, what do you mean I'm too young? Like, what's the right age? And there is no right age. So I love that you mentioned that, because if you want to do something, like you said, like, you're going to do it. No matter how old you are, no matter how long time passes, you're going to do it.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? Like, music has no age. Music is timeless. It's a spiritual experience that comes with, music, or even just making a movie. We want to be able to make art that outlives our own life existence, Like me being 30, I want to be able to make a record that people can play 60, 90 plus years from now. Like, yo, there was this guy named Leo back in 2020, 2022. He was doing his thing, yo. Man, check out this. I want to leave a legacy like that. Yeah. That like, even if they don't remember who I am, people can still feel my presence through other people that has been influenced or inspired by me.
Yeah, and I think that is an amazing point. I feel like one thing a lot of musicians and artists are afraid of is actually putting themselves out there and actually marketing themselves. A lot of people are shy. And what's something that has helped you put out your music and your image out there?
Yeah, see, like for me, I can just look at the earlier phases when I was in junior high school. I used to, record to Cool Edit Pro, because that was the thing to record on back then. And we would just make CDs and pass them around, on the campus, and people would go crazy. And then it evolved to, we started to have like platforms like MySpace, where we'll make music, put it on MySpace, then boom, you start getting all these random people becoming your fans. And then I used to like submit my stuff to different record pools, and man, DJs playing my music, emailing me, and I'm still in high school, and they like, hey man, this record's dope. Man, you think you could come to Atlanta to perform? And I'm like,
I'm in high school.
Yeah,
Let me ask my parents.
Yeah, I gotta ask my parents. But see, my parents, they were so caught up in their military life, they didn't really know how to engage.
So did you have a support group at a young age, or did it just develop slowly?
I feel like it developed so slowly. My parents, I believe they supported me, but they didn't know how to support me because they wasn't passionate about what I was passionate about. They come from a different era where, they were just built to just work to survive, so they didn't really have time to really invest into me and, my visions and dreams, which is okay because at the end of the day, your parents are human, right? But they did invest into my career, bought me studio equipment, you know, paid, for certain things. When I used to be in a marching band, I used to play the drum, so, they helped
So
out in some
what
way.
instruments do you play?
Oof, I don't play any instruments
No.
now, but I will say I did play the tenor drum. I was inspired by the whole idea of like drumline, Nick
Yeah.
Cannon, and I was like, I want to play the drums. And when I get into the band, so yeah, that was pretty dope. Yeah, so I feel like over time, as I learned, about these different platforms over the internet, I'll always try to find a way to get myself out there through even just from performing on college campuses, things of that nature, and going to college in Hawaii and finding, connecting with someone who was able to get my stuff placed in movies and stuff like that.
And I
You
want to
know,
go into that topic. You say that your music has been in movies and shows. Talk about how has that been for you? Has it opened doors? Has it maybe even closed doors? How has that been?
I feel like it opens doors because it allows you to market the song. That was something that I struggle with as an artist is that I didn't understand the business aspect. I was just like, yo, I want to get my music all over the
And
world.
that's really bad. I feel like as an artist, if you don't understand that business aspect of it, people might take advantage of you, and they might exploit your art, your music, because you're getting into this and you don't really know.
Yeah, and it's bigger than just having a great song. People fail to realize that you have to spend a lot more time in the marketing and the promotion aspect because you're technically a brand, a product at the end of the day. So you got to spend a lot of time basically marketing your song or your album as like, yo, this is the hottest thing out. So you know getting your stuff on different playlists, getting your stuff in these record pools to where like you starting to get radio spins, club spins, like all of that stuff is important. It's bigger than just making a dope record because anybody can make a dope record, but how you going to get it out to the world?
Yeah, like how are you going to market it? And I love how you said that, like you've always been one to put your music online, send it to people, because I feel like that stops a lot of people. They're scared to email, they're scared to tell people because they're so afraid of what other people think. And I love how you're just like, no, like I found websites, I emailed people, I put my music out there.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I remember during the MySpace era, I had a song that I put out, and Coast to Coast, they still, pretty big, but this is before I even knew what Coast to Coast was. A DJ from Coast to Coast, DJ Soulless, he messaged me on MySpace. He was like, yo, I put your song on this official Coast to Coast mixtape. It's on Dead Piff. Go stream it. I'm like, what? I go to Dead Piff and I see like, yo, my song is like on one of the biggest mixtape, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And seeing that, I'm like, okay, now I know I'm getting somewhere, and just, I feel like as time progressed, I had to find different ways to really get my music out there because, it was easier back then to just create a dope record and people will buy in on it. But it's like now the music industry is overly saturated with so much music coming out. You can easily get lost in the sauce and your music can be buried on top of all the other stuff that's coming out, so.
Yeah, because there's so many social media platforms that didn't exist, Now we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, and people are really using it to the fullest.
Yeah, and people follow the algorithm. Like, I remember where we used to like look up for artists that we would like to listen to, right? But now you have these playlists where people, they're not really in control of what they want to listen to. They just listen to whatever playlist that Spotify puts out, and that's it. So now, as artists, we got to find our way to get into the algorithm, to get our song in, but also too, we have to get into the habit of getting out of our comfort zone. Yeah. Performing is so important. That's why a lot of these artists that we look up to, why they make so much money off their music, because they're touring, they're selling merch, getting a placement in a movie, TV show. That doesn't really help. You get like a little small check, on the back end, songwriter royalties. But if the label owns the publishing, you're not really collecting a lot of money. You may get a little nice little front end, paycheck, for the sync. But other than that, you got to perform. You got to build relationships organically, communicating with the local people, going to these local venues and perform.
Yeah, because I feel like so many people, they get lost in social media. They're like, oh, I just need to release it on social media. And social media will do the rest. But you're right. Like, people do need to perform. People need to see you face to face and be like, oh, wow, this is your music.
Yeah, because, like, we're living in an era now where, like, people are past the gimmicks. Like, people want to actually make real connections with their artists. That's why I like people like Cardi B. When she first came out, she was just like, she just showed nothing but personality. Yeah. Hood chick from the Bronx, Dominicana, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo,
and she's very open about that. And she's very sassy. And I love Cardi B.
Very vulnerable to the people. So a lot of us, male or female, young or old, we could relate to her as a human being. So when she started to present her music to the public, everybody ate it because we love Cardi B as the person. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough to just have ego and, oh, yeah, I got the best song. Don't nobody care about that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You have to be vulnerable. You have to be like, this is me. I'm the face of the music.
Yeah, most definitely. So shout out to Cardi B.
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Going back, you never did say what movies and TV shows has your music been featured? I know that before the podcast started, you mentioned a couple.
Yeah. So my first placement was Chicago PD. They had it like very subtle in the background of a scene. Because when you look at Chicago PD, it's more of like an action. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, a hip-hop song is not going to be like on the forefront, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like one of my biggest placements had to be Step Up High Water Season 2. Step Up, that's like one of the biggest dance movie franchises. Shout out to Channing Tatum, for being the executive producer, for this this franchise. And I was able to get a placement on the one that has Neo and Naya Rivera, as the main characters. They even placed it on the music soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
That you can stream on Apple and Spotify just to further validify, like, yo, Leo is definitely getting his foot in the door, so they have it. I think the show is on Stars now. It was on YouTube Premium at first, but now it's on Stars. And I believe they're probably going to have it on other,
streaming platforms.
Yeah, streaming platforms for sure. So I definitely collect, on the back end.
And I think that's amazing. I feel like art inspires art, like you need like music and film, and like having your music in that film, like it just created like a whole other opportunity, it creates opportunities.
Yeah, most definitely. And what's so crazy, like I don't really believe in the whole comparison. You know how like a lot of people, they like to compare their success to other people's success. I believe comparison is the killer of all joy.
It is.
You have to learn to be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Because your journey is your journey. Because I can remember when I was just that young kid trying to get an opportunity, and boom, early 20s, my music getting placed. And I get to watch this stuff at home and be like, yo, that's my song right there, you know? And even though I desire more, I'm still thankful that even if I don't get another placement, I can say like, yo, I got a placement.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's you versus you.
You versus
Yeah.
you,
No one's stopping you but yourself.
but yourself.
Yeah. What other medias have your music been featured on?
The recently HBO Max, Sweet Life Los Angeles, my song got placed, you know, in episode 7. You know, I thought that was pretty dope. I got a small little placement on the Rick and Morty.
Woo, Rick and Morty.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? I haven't even watched that show.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was crazy because I was looking through my royalty statement and I was like, Rick and Morty. And then I went to go watch and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, man. I like it.
I love Rick and Morty. It's one of my favorite, I guess, cartoon. Yeah. And it's so funny because my favorite fashion blogger, she's always wearing a beret. And this one day, she went on Instagram Live and she's like, guys, I just wanted to say, do you guys know that my brother is the creator of Rick and Morty? And I was like, what? Like, it's just so crazy how, like, so many things connect, you know? Like, but I think that's amazing. And how did you find out? Like, tell me about that.
I found out through, because, you know, like, when it comes to BMI, we get paid every 3 months, which is technically a quarter. We get paid in 4 quarters in a year, you know? So I was looking through my statement and I was like looking at what got placed and how many times it got streamed. And I was like, Rick and Morty, what the Happy Meal, man? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, and then I told my buddy about it. It was like, yo, got a placement on Rick and Morty. He was like, bro, that's like one of the biggest shows ever, man. You know, so I watched it.
Did you tell people? Did you put it on your
platforms? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was being braggadocious, man. I was doing crazy.
You have to be like, guys, look at this, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta reward yourself.
Oh, yeah. Gotta pat yourself on the back, man. You know, but I believe in getting more placements. I would love to get, you know, some Marvel placements, you know.
Is that like one of your dream goals?
Yeah, I love movie soundtracks. And the fact that I'm a big movie buff and a lot of, you know, my childhood was just watching a bunch of movies, you know, and listening to music. Like, you know, I feel like that's my lane. Yeah. Even though I definitely would love to, you know, get placements with artists. You know, one of my dream goals is to do a feature, you know, with Drake. You know, I just think he's really dope. And with my animated personality, man, I really think, you know, we'll vibe well together. You know, Uzi Vert, shout out to Uzi. I would love to work with these artists. Yeah.
I just think it's amazing that you work in like a national world level, you know? And I think that's so hard because we live in El Paso. And I want to talk about the El Paso music industry. I want to talk about your thoughts on it and what advice would you give an El Paso musician that is barely starting out? Yeah,
my advice is definitely build relationships. Don't be the studio gangster, you know, that just makes music and expects it to just blow up over the internet. No, you need to get out, perform at the colleges. I'm telling you, the youth is the pulse of getting your stuff out there. The youth is very important. Performing at the high schools, performing at the colleges, and that depends on the content. You know, if you talking crazy, your high school performances is slim to none. But if you got a dope vibe, pretty clean, get you some high school performances, perform at the colleges, perform at, you know, the clubs.
Or even create like an event, you know?
Yeah, create an event, you know, even whether it's like a community event, you know, like a cookout, and you got like a stereo and a mic and you just perform your stuff, you know?
Yeah, because it's not hard. I feel like we always tend to complicate stuff along the way. But like you can always ask people for help, you know. And I feel like so many people are prideful. They're like, oh no, like I'm too afraid to ask someone I don't even know. But that's how you network, you know. You need to knock on the right doors to get where you are.
Most definitely. Or even doing like, a community outreach where like you in a parking lot, you got some lights, you got some music playing, you allowing, people to like do like a little rap cipher, or whether it's like crumping, dancing, just allowing people to express their art, where there may be someone that wants to sing and someone that wants to beatbox, to try to, doing things like that. That's so dope to me.
Yeah, because that's how you learn. You learn from watching other artists and also like collaborating with them, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. And, just being a light, man, and communication is everything. Building relationships, basically, I feel like when you see greatness in other people, it's a reflection of the greatness that is in you. So being able to reaffirm or reassure the greatness in your neighbor, it just
and encouraging other people too.
Encouraging other people.
Yeah.
I really feel like you can be rewarded long term. So
Yeah, because
definitely.
you never know, like that one person that you encouraged years back maybe is in a position now to like help you, you know?
Most definitely.
And I wanted to talk about your album. I've been looking at it and I was like, I don't know if you want to show the... Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
This is so cool.
Yeah, this album, EP, is called To Infinity and Beyond, and it doesn't even release until 2022,
Oh, wow.
February
So this
the 2nd.
is a sneak peek,
This is an exclusive. This is an exclusive EP cassette tape to my EP, To Infinity and Beyond. It's dope, guys. It has 6 tracks, and this is very dear to me. And man, y'all got to check this out. It's going to be on all platforms.
Who
February
did
2nd, 2020.
your art?
Oh, yeah, man. Shout out to one of my friends, VJ Van Jasmine. He actually did artwork for Riff Raff's Neon Icon. So, like, all of, like, Riff Raff, Neon Icon merch,
Yeah.
he did this, So, actually, I remember when I was reaching out to do a feature with Riff Raff, he was actually managing that account, and we built a relationship. He heard my music. He was like, yo, Leo, I think you dope, man. I want to work with you. And he's been the one that's been doing all my artworks and my press kits and stuff, making my brand look dope. So shout out to Van Jasmine.
And like I said, like so many people, we need to use other art medias, because it just boosts it up even more, It adds like more to your music.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, artwork is very important, man. Just the presentation. I remember where like just the artwork alone will make someone want to buy in to your record. Like, man, this looks dope. If it looks dope, it may sound dope. Let me buy it. So I feel like the artwork is part of the marketing as well, so, first impression is the lasting impression for sure.
And one of my last questions is, what is something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you started?
Patience. The reason why I say that is, I always felt like, time was so short. One of my biggest fears is dying and no one knows who I am, or they haven't been exposed to anything that I've created in my existence. So learning to breathe and let go of that fear and just make every moment count without trying to rush. Just go at your own pace. Because you don't want anything to be birthed prematurely, because if it's birthed prematurely, it's not going to stand the test of time, You know, so
We need to learn how to walk before we run, you know?
yeah, you know, so definitely be patient with yourself. And I feel like a lot of people uh, follow the internet and they allow the internet expectations to kill their dreams.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm too old to do this, or man, if people are not streaming my music now, then my music must suck. And that don't even be the case, because there's a lot of artists that are super amazing, but they don't have the streams, they don't have the followers. We just have to be patient, you know, and if your heart is in the right place,
You
you're
have to
gonna
be patient and to never give up.
yeah. And also too, look at your art as a stock. You know, let's say you drop something and it may not have any value at the moment. As time progresses, that song or that album that you created years ago may be worth millions down the line. It's kind of like Bitcoin. Remember,
Yeah.
Bitcoin started
Oh,
at zero, right?
I remember.
Now Bitcoin is at $54,000 just for one coin.
And that's crazy because, like, I had investment in Bitcoin and I took it out. And now I
Biggest
regret
regret.
it.
Oh,
Biggest regret.
man.
So, yes, people, be patient because
Be patient.
it will pay off in the long run, you know? Like, I totally agree.
Every butterfly has been a caterpillar. You know, we all go through that cocoon phase. You know, when you're in that cocoon, it's dark. You don't really see the transformation. You don't really see you know that you were created to be a butterfly, but you don't really see it. You know, it seems like things are just slow, you know, sluggish. You know how caterpillars, they all slow, sluggish, just eating everything. Then boom, they hit the cocoon phase, it's dark. You don't really see the transformation. But the people on the outside, we see that, okay, this caterpillar is turning into a butterfly that's going to eventually break out and fly. Don't die in the cocoon.
Yes. Don't get comfortable.
Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. So definitely patient, and it's going to pay off. I'm telling you, you're talking to someone who started out at 11, 12 years old, and boom, I get to college. I get offered a licensing deal. Boom. Now my stuff is getting played in movies. Man, be patient. Be patient.
And before we go ahead and give yourself a shout out. Where can we follow you? Where can we see your music?
Okay. You can definitely follow me on my Bandcamp. Seriously, it's King Leo, Leo .bandcamp.com. I don't have my Instagram up at the moment, but trust me, it's going to be back up active very soon. And it's King Leo. Most definitely. All my music is on Apple Music and Spotify. And I got music videos on YouTube as well. Definitely tap in.
Well, thank you so much, Leo. And thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next El Paso Creative Podcast.